Haley Show and the ProNex Podcast. And I'm Neil Haley, your presenter for the ProNex Podcast. Thank again, Fred Pira, for making this happen. Great show, especially when we're kind of highlighting surgery centers. So my guest today is Lisa Sprong. She's an administrator for JourneyLite Surgery Center. Lisa, thanks for stopping by, and how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being on the show, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. Lisa, tell me a little bit about your background and how and more about being an administrator at JourneyLite of Cincinnati.
Sure. JourneyLite started out as primarily all bariatrics. Throughout the years, we've added some multi-specialty, spine, plastics, pain. We've added those different specialties to our surgery center. We work very closely with JourneyLite Physicians, who is the bariatric physician's office, that we use a ProNex system with. But I started here about 17 years ago. We were a startup from the ground up, and we grew it from one surgery to hundreds of surgeries a month, and probably 600 bariatric surgeries a year.
All right, so let's kind of, how did you guys connect with ProNex Inc. and tell us about how you use the software?
Sure. We were using an EMR that was not integrated with anything. We also at the time had a tracker, a lead tracker, and the lead tracker was not integrated. So there was no talking back and forth between the two systems. So it was all manual. So luckily, the EMR company came to us and said they were going to go in a direction more towards physical therapy. So they weren't going to support the bariatric practice any longer. So that sort of forced us to get a different EMR, which we did. Now, when we got the EMR, it was not ProNex, okay? When we got the EMR, we were promised that the system would do everything that we needed it to do. And we soon found within about a year and a half that it was not doing what we needed it to. And so I had heard of Fred through the bariatric industry, and I actually reached out to him and asked him what he had. And then we didn't talk again for some time, and then we touched base again. And at that time, he said, I have what you need. I can basically take the 5 different systems that you are using individually and turn them into one system that will integrate with your EMR. So I was reluctant to change. And I also, Fred's a good salesman. And I thought, oh, Fred's just telling me a story, and he kept reinforcing, Lisa, I promise you. And, so their programmer, Jean, who is one of the most patient men on earth, he said, oh, yes, we can do it. We can do it. And so in about February of 2022, we signed our paperwork to get started with ProNex, and everything they said they would deliver, they delivered. It was amazing. We were able to get rid of a texting system, an education piece system, our tracker, a check-in manager, a patient dashboard. All of it became automated, and it really has saved our practice time. It has allowed us to help our patients to kind of see what's going on with their healthcare, to see where they are in their case for bariatrics. It's been wonderful. I love ProNex. They worked with me every single week. We had a standing call for 2 years to get everything perfect how we wanted it.
You're not going to have many software companies that do that.
No. And I mean, we just kept waiting for them to, pull the rug out and say, come on, guys, you have to just accept things. But it's not like that with them. They truly do stand by their word. And Fred always teases me now, like, didn't I tell you? And I'm like, yes, but you're the first one ever to follow through with that. And so it's just been really nice. And I think all of our staff has really appreciated the program, and really we are a very well-oiled machine at this point.
Now let's think about things when you talk about specifically you talked about how great they connected and created the system, made your system so much easier. Can you give me examples of what ProNex software can do for you for your surgery center?
Oh, well, I guess I could start with Jean created a complete check-in system. So we were paying a hefty price to use a very common, I won't say what the software is, but to use this software to check in patients. And the patients would get reminder texts and emails saying, asking them to do like their workflow so that they could be ready for their appointment. And they would come into the office. If they didn't have it done, they'd use this little like iPad type thing and check in. And so that was very costly, and it was not fully integrated with the EMR that we had. So ProNex was able to take that software and that process and put it into the patient flow system and integrate it with our current EMR. So that has been beautiful. We don't even check in from our EMR anymore. We only check in our patients through the patient flow system.
And see, I love that fact that the thing that they talk about, because lots of medical organizations that could be in the, bariatrics, they can be in, chiropractic, dental, when they have the difficulty of always doing things manually to follow up with their patients, potential patients in the process in bariatrics is they got to qualify for potentially a bariatric surgery. So you need to have the constant communication. Are they following certain things? And then also that follow up afterwards. And having that communication between the doctor and the patient is huge. And because of HIPAA, you really need to have something that's connected to the EMR, which is the electronic medical record. If people do not know that and they're not in that industry, connected to a CRM, because that's the big thing is that the patients that you put in the system, they might not be your patient yet. And you're going to be able to do follow-ups and different things that you would have to do manually, saying, here are some leads. I think they might be interested. Now, through this software, you can communicate seamlessly with that.
Yeah, definitely it is. I love that Patient Flow has a lead and a patient section. So the lead does not go into our EMR until they become a patient. So that allows us to track the patient and follow up appropriately. We have pretty stringent follow-up program. And what I love is there's autoresponders that we can set up, that we can put a patient in a certain status, and then they're going to get followed up with, just automatically.
Right. I think that's awesome. And that's something that is absolutely needed. Because tell me, it's not fun, right, to be having a list and then going from one thing to another back and forth over and over and over again. Right. And
No.
let me go ahead and pull out, our records. Maybe they could be in the computer. Maybe they could be files. And everyone needs to, especially their bariatric surgery center or anything in bariatric surgery, to be able to implement this, because that's where Fred started in. Now Fred has expanded, but ultimately that's his bread and butter, isn't it?
Oh,
Understanding that
absolutely.
industry.
Yeah, the lead tracker piece of it is so important. Without that, you can't keep track of phone calls that come in or people who sign up from our website, to want information. And then when you do contact the person, they may not answer. And then, okay, well, how are we going to then return the call? And some people prefer to text. How often do we all, would rather just text me, and then we can communicate while we're in the middle of our work. We can answer a quick text. So I like how quick it is to be able to communicate with someone. I think you can have more of a casual conversation with someone when you're texting rather than when you're doing more of a formal email. So, and it's all, and it tracks it. You can see
100%.
every conversation and everything that you did with that patient. You can go back and you can read the story.
I love it. And think about that, because of all this automation that ProNex is able to do. How does that make your job easier as the administrator?
Oh, it makes it so much easier. You know, we have a team of patient service representatives who handle that piece of our company. And I'm able to go in and run reports to see where patients are, to see where the leads are, to see how many leads that we get each day, each week, each month, you know, so that we can keep, you know, our the pulse of our company is based on those leads that are coming into our company, you know, in for people who are interested in bariatric surgery. You know, so it makes it easier for the management team, and it also makes it easier for our patient service representatives that they can stay busy contacting new patients, you know, and not so busy trying to look through a spreadsheet or look through a system of who should I call.
That's more.
Basically they have a work list. I mean, there's like a little bell that dings of who they should call. You know, I mean, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's helped make
Very.
the system much easier, make your job easier, and that's definitely an important thing. So for people in the Cincinnati area, it's because again we are nationally syndicated, and this will be on radio. People in the Cincinnati area that are interested in learning more about your surgery center, how can they contact you?
Sure, they can contact us through JourneyLite.com. And they can just fill out a form and we'll be happy to contact them. Or they can just call us at 513-259-2555 and we'll be happy to help them. We pride ourselves on being, you know, the most comprehensive and best bariatric program in the Cincinnati area. And we'll argue the whole region because we do have offices in Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Dayton, Ohio, and also in Northern Kentucky. So we are a multi-specialty and a multi-satellite business.
All right, fantastic. And again, go to pronexinc.com right now and schedule a call with Fred today. Appreciate it again. Thanks again, Lisa.
Thanks. Take care.
You're listening and watching the Neil Haley
Appreciate it.
Show. We'll be back in just a moment.